Hello again, Struck Club. South Korea's newest overhyped free-to-play mobile action RPG hacking slash game with pay-to-win on December finally has a release date for its global version, October 12th, 2022. The game will be playable on that date on Steam PC as well as on Android and iOS devices with full cross-play enabled. Steam players will also be able to test the game via a demo version from the 3rd of October until the 11th, thanks to the latest Steam Next Fest entry. Now, let's talk about the type of content that players could expect on launch. First of all, the game's main story of several acts, which will most likely get expanded eventually with additional new ones, new chapters to that story, as they promised some time ago in one of their dev videos about the game in Korea. Then Chaos Dungeons, endgame content that unlocks after finishing the main campaign, and on top of that, further, even harder endgame content, boss raids or a boss raid. Well, I think there's multiple because in the trailer video for boss raids, they shown multiple one. 8-person bosses that most likely won't be solvable, but that is if the game even allows you to attempt it without at least a second person in your team. And since I think the teams are 4 or 5 men, most likely four, this would require some sort of an alliance or whatever. I'm not sure. It's probably due to matchmaking specifically. Probably think of Diablo Immortals raid. Probably works the same way. Then guilds, limited to only 50 members, unfortunately, and also attached to a terrible guild buffs system, which forces players into creating or joining a guild, as well as grinding for guild levels so that they won't miss out on those buffs getting stronger or getting them in the first place. Awful bad way of handling guilds that unfortunately almost everyone does in this way. Now, UNDECEMBER has released 13 videos in their English YouTube channel. There's a lot more in the official Korean one, but the official English channel, just yesterday, even it hasn't been 24 hours still, released 13 different videos. Most of them are super short, one something minute long. There's even a full soundtrack of a whole hour you can watch. There's like boss combat trailer, narrative trailers, 2 mini build videos, which I'll include the footage of in the end for those, story trailers, and so on. So if you're interested, make sure to check the link in my description to the official UNDECEMBER YouTube channel. Now let's talk a little bit about the key features worth mentioning. First of all, the rune system, which I've told you about long ago, but let's quickly sum it up. Choose active skill runes and enhance those with passive ones by using link runes to connect to connect them with each other. All of this happens in a limited slot space called Runecraft, which is pretty much a hex grid. And all runes have grades as well as levels and can be upgraded using various types of essences. Now, there is the diverse itemization. There's all sorts of different archetypes or types of weapons, and each of those have multiple different rarities, and they have different stats and special affixes that you would want to chase for specific builds. And speaking of builds, there's also a very solid amount of build diversity. 3 core archetypes of builds: strength, dexterity, and intelligence. But each of those can either be focused into, like purely strength, purely dex, pure intelligence, or you can mix and match them for some more of a hybrid combo. There is a lot of freedom when it comes to picking skills, but keep in mind, certain skills can only be used with certain types of gear, of weapons, unless they changed that. They're saying the opposite in their official summary of the game, but in the guides, when I go to them, it still says that certain weapons require certain skills require certain weapons. So one of those two is incorrect, and both of them are official information. So we'll see, I guess, when the Western version comes out, whether it will be different than the Korean. To further add depth comes a constellation system that is like a copy-paste of Grim Dawn's Devotions, where passive skill points are spent into stats like nodes for constellations to get extra attributes, extra other types of stats, crit, whatever, movement speed, casting speed, and so on, and other bunch of good stuff that can come from those. So definitely in terms of build diversity, there is a lot to discover, a lot to experiment with. But the thing is, I don't know much about the balance. I've played a little bit of the game when it was in the Korean version, mostly on my phone, and I was extremely disappointed, especially by the pay to win. But um, we will discover eventually how well balanced the game is, whether it's a must play meta or which I normally call as weta, only effective tactic available, or whether you will be able to play the weaker builds and still finish the final hardest content just slower than the meta. We'll see about that. Regarding the cash shop, you should expect pay to win, not direct, but you buy certain currency and then you use this currency to buy other things that grant you all sorts of advantages over non-paying people, as well as buying that currency with real money and then using that currency to buy another one that you use to trade on the auction house, where you can buy the best gear other people are selling, as long as you have deeper enough pockets. So that's what you could expect if the Western is exactly as the Korean. They've changed some things in the Korean since it launched over the past few months. Like just a couple of weeks ago, I was revisiting some of my guides, fixing, adding new images that I've downloaded from the Korean websites for new types of essences and stuff. But yes, you should expect, you should come prepared for bad advantages to free-to-play players' cash shop setting. Now, all of those things said, I will still, as usual, play the game during the test time. I would try to play it between the 3rd and the 11th. I could maybe even make some build videos if I don't rage quit before that. And I'll probably play it on launch. We'll see if I'll have the nerves to play it on launch. I will be busy playing some other things during those times, but I'll try to find some time, just like I did with Diablo Immortal, to play it for the sake of at least showing you how bad or how not so bad, if that's the case, the cash shop is and the game's end game is. To get notified when I upload more content like this one or other builds and guides for Wooter and not so Wooter games, you can subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to not miss out on notifications. As well as keep in mind there's something called memberships on YouTube, which lets you be a paying member for my channel to get access to perks such as emotes and badges made by me, as well as the option to get one-on-one tutoring for the very basics of Adobe Photoshop, Premiere and After Effects. And memberships can be cancelled at any time if you no longer want to be a member. Thanks for watching all the way until the end, Struck Web. Keep it cool until next time, and goodbye.